About 10 months ago, I set out on a journey to try and see how fast I can possibly go from 0 Robux to 10,000 Robux in the game Please Donate on Roblox. So far I've done 5 episodes of this series, and the only rules I had for this series were, in each video I'd have 1 hour to see how much Robux I can make. Number 2, I have to be in a non-voice chat server. Number 3, I have to be on an alt account. And lastly, all the Robux I make in each video will go to somebody in the comments below. And I am still going to give the Robux to somebody in the comments below, so definitely be sure to leave your username in the comments below. But in the 4th episode of this series, I decided to take away the non-voice chat servers rule because I would have probably had to do over 100 episodes if I kept that rule. And sure enough, after removing that rule, the amount of Robux that I was earning went up substantially. And today, we're starting episode 6 of this series. Before we get into the video, I wanted to let you know, if this video gets to 5,000 likes, I will literally use a voice changer and change my outfit in the next episode of this series and become a girl. I know for a fact the Liquate clan is strong, so I think you guys got this. Alright guys, we are back on the Bacon alt account, and we're trying to get a step further to our goal of 10,000 Robux on this account. If you take a look at Mr. Bacon today, you will notice he's dripped out with a new fit. Now, you might be wondering, why does Mr. Bacon look so cool today? Well, aside from his cool shades, which by the way are literally called cool shades, basically just like every other episode in this series, I dress up Mr. Bacon in a way to match our strategy for the episode. If you watched my last video called Do This to Earn 100 times more Robux and Please Donate, you may have already heard about this strategy. And if you were paying close attention, you may have already noticed the name change as well. Challenger Bacon. So yeah, basically what we're gonna do today is challenges for Robux. That's right guys, we're gonna do some challenges today for Robux. And honestly, I was feeling pretty good about this strategy. I think that with challenges, we might reach some new heights in our Robux journey. Now, in recent episodes of this series, I was mostly selling food on my booth. So of course I had a booth that was themed after food, but since I didn't feel like the current booth would work really well for the theme of challenges, I decided to go take a look at the booth shop. I noticed I had 1,092 gift bucks, which honestly, I don't even know how I have that much because I'm pretty sure in the last video, I had a lot less. And although I was able to afford quite a few of the booths in the shop, unfortunately, I wasn't really lucky with the current booth shop rotation. None of the booths really fit what I was going for, but luckily, in the 2nd episode of this series, I purchased the fire booth for 100 gift bucks, and I honestly think that this one could do the trick. After that, the last thing I had to do before I stepped into a public server and started the timer was put a message on my booth. After some thinking, this is what I came up with. My plan was for every 1 Robux somebody donates me, I'll run 1 lap around the fountain. So far in this series, we've raised 2,122 Robux, and since I felt pretty optimistic about how the challenges would go, I put a goal of 4,000 Robux for this episode. After that, I had one more idea that, in my opinion, honestly made my theme a lot better. Boom! You ain't never seen a bacon look this good. And with this tracksuit, this bacon was ready to run some laps. Alright guys, as soon as I claim this booth, the timer begins. There it is guys, there it is, the timer has started. Let's see what we can do today. By the way, I was originally going to use a voice changer in this episode, but a lot of you guys seem to really like my weird voices I was using as a way to disguise my real voice, so I figured let's just do that again. Anyone wanna check out my booth? And quite honestly, I couldn't seem to get the voice down this time, and because of that, I was a little bit scared that somebody might recognize me, so then, for whatever reason, I started talking like this. 1 second, what'd you say? And this guy right here actually was annoyed by the way I was talking. So then I tried to switch back to my other voice. Alright, so here's the deal. I'm trying to do laps for Robux. Are you in?
Depends. Are you gonna stop talking like that? And
if you thought I was just gonna let this guy sit on his throne and tell me how I can or cannot talk, you'd be mistaken. Sadly mistaken. So I said, no, I'm gonna keep talking like this. And even though this might have cost me some Robux, I thought that I won this battle. I rebelled against the freaking king and I was gonna get to use whatever voice I want to. But no. This guy right here with his beautiful bacon hair destroyed my absolutely glorious rebellion that I had just started with only 4 words. I have no idea how the heck he recognized me, especially with that voice. I mean, this has to be a record time or something. Because of this incident, I finally decided that it's time to use voice mod. I really was hoping I could get away without using this for a while, but unfortunately, the days without voice mod have come to a close. And if you're wondering what the voice I'm gonna use sounds like,
this is what the voice is gonna sound like to people in the game. Let me know in the comments what you think about it.
After getting voice mod set up, I stepped back into a public server, claimed a booth, and restarted the timer. The timer has begun. Here we go again. Right off the bat, I was already feeling pretty optimistic because literally in the first server, there was multiple people with well over 100,000 Robux donated. I'm not gonna lie, guys, I think we got a good first server. Let's see what we can do here. After running into some fellow bacons, oh my gosh, my brethren, Bacon Brothers. Hey, yo, what the flip is that? I decided to get right to the point and try out the new strategy. Yo, anybody want to see me run some laps around the fountain? I will literally run 1 lap per 1 Robux. So like 100 Robux, 100 laps. Unfortunately, the first group of people completely ignored me. Hello? So then I figured, why not approach this guy? Something about him makes me feel like he knows a thing or two about running. You wanna see me run some laps? Every 1 Robux, 1 lap around the fountain. Look, I even got my tracksuit on. Check it out, check it out. Ah, you're saving. All right. I guess I'll just catch you after your next movie paycheck then. Yo guys, look. Check out my fit. Tracksuit, right? I'm ready to freaking run, bro.
I'm ready to freaking run, bro.
Every 1 Robux equals 1 lap around the fountain. Who's down? Who's down? You? Okay, whatever, man. After that, I tried my sales pitch on multiple people, and pretty much nobody was even responding to me. Freya, you want me to do laps? I'll do laps. Just 1 Robux per lap. I'm cheap. Freya, you're AFK, aren't you? After being ignored for what felt like the 100th time, I decided to go try to find a better server. Luckily, in the next server, there were definitely some rich people, and the people in the server seemed really active, so I definitely wasn't gonna lose hope just yet. Hey guys, I'm running laps for Robux. Does anybody want to watch me run some laps? I'm trying to raise some Robux. I was ignored once again, so then I walked over to the next group of people. I'm running laps for Robux. Anybody interested? Guys, running laps for Robux, running laps for Robux. And it seemed like nobody would respond when I told them I was running laps for Robux, so I decided to try a bit more of an emotional approach. I'm crying. I could really use some Robux right now. And that wasn't working either, so in the chat I decided to type this out, and then I just started walking up to each group, spamming that chat message, and also talking to them in voice chat. Anyone want to watch me run some laps for Robux, please? I could really use the Robux, man. And even with all this effort, I was still getting completely ignored. And I'm not gonna lie, guys, I don't think I've ever been ignored this much in any of the previous episodes in this series. But luckily, 14 minutes into the challenge, I finally found somebody who is even interested enough to even respond to me.
What are you saying there, bro?
Wait, me? I then led him to my booth and explained to him how my challenges for Robux worked. Right now I have my challenges 1 lap for every 1 Robux. After that, I finally got the first donation of the video, which was 100 Robux. Honestly, my reaction maybe wasn't the best. Yo, okay, thank you. But that's just because I knew I was about to have to run 100 laps around the fountain. 100 laps, all right. And after doing some of my laps, I have a feeling that the guy who donated me wanted to see me suffer, so he gave me another 75 Robux. Oh my gosh, thank you! And then he gave me another 50 Robux, and then a 25 Robux donation. Oh my gosh, that's gonna be a lot of laps. And indeed, it was a lot of laps. With all of his donations, that was 250 laps that I had to run around the fountain. And I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty painful. So I came up with an easier strategy where instead of running like this, I zoomed out my camera and started running like this. This actually helped me get it done a lot faster, and overall, I was just so happy to see that my plan was finally starting to work. After several minutes of running, this guy for some reason decided to join in a little bit, and as I kept running, it became more and more apparent that running laps for Robux is pretty time consuming. I started running with about 45 minutes left on the timer, and by the time I finally finished all 250 laps, we were down to about 32 minutes, which means that we were halfway through the challenge, and we literally spent a quarter of the time running laps so far. I then went to go look for the guy who donated me the Robux so I could let him know that I'm a man of my word and I finished my laps, but unfortunately, I couldn't find him anywhere. Yo, where's Toaster? And I didn't really have time to waste, so I immediately got back to work and asked some more people, yo, anybody else want to see me run some laps around the fountain for Robux? I could do more even though I feel tired. And none of these people even responded to me, so I was starting to quickly remember what it's like to be ignored so much. Guys, hello? I then ran into this person named Izzy, who has almost 2 million donated and apparently is a YouTuber. Yo, Izzy, are you a YouTuber? So I figured if anyone's gonna help me, it's probably gonna be a rich YouTuber. So I tried to talk to him. I dreamed to be a YouTuber too one day. Maybe you could help a fellow starter YouTuber, but unfortunately, they didn't respond to me either. And after that, I had pretty much reached my limit with the ignoring in this server, so I decided to find a new server. This server right here looked like a promising one, so I clicked join. And then I realized, what the... How did I just join the same server? Out of all the servers, I chose the same one. By the time I found a new server, we were down to 26 minutes. By the way, when doing these challenges for Robux, you have to find the right balance where people are actually interested in paying for your challenge, but you also feel like you're getting enough Robux in return. And honestly, I didn't really feel that way whenever I did 250 laps for 250 Robux. So starting in this server, I decided to change my price. I will do a lap per 2 Robux. Every 2 Robux, 1 lap around the fountain. I'm trying to get to 4K raise, bruh. I'm almost at 2.5K. That server ended up being pretty dead, so I switched servers again, and the next server was a good one. That's a lot of rich people. What the heck? I'm sure some of these people could afford some laps. I then approached the first group of people I saw. I'm trying to do laps around the fountain for Robux. Every 2 Robux, 1 lap. I'm just trying to do something for Robux.
You can make people laugh. That's what I did.
That's a good tip. I feel like I've heard that from somewhere. Nobody seemed interested, so then I said, if anyone is kind enough just to look at my booth, I would really appreciate it. It's right here. And that actually got the attention of this beautiful looking avatar right here. Are you interested? I'll do 1 lap for every 2 Robux. And he was interested. Yo, thank you so much, man. All right, 50 more laps. Let's freaking go. Since I changed the price to 1 lap for every 2 Robux, I managed to get all 50 laps done in only about 3 minutes. I'm not gonna lie, I like the 2 Robux for 1 lap better. After that, I said thank you to the guy who donated me. Hey, thank you again. It really helps, man.
Of course, yeah.
And then I realized this guy who was pretty much watching me do all of the laps intended to steal my business. Since I did a lap for every 2 Robux, he was trying to undercut me and do 1 lap for every 1 Robux. And it actually worked too. He got 100 Robux from the same guy, so I decided to take my business elsewhere. On a side note, I was actually feeling pretty lucky this episode because the next server was also a good one. Not only did it have more rich people, it just had a lot of active people in general. Yo, there's so many people here. What the flip? And honestly, I'm guessing it's because for a lot of people, it's summer break right now. So I quickly got to work and asked this big group of people if anyone would donate me for some laps. And unfortunately, nobody was interested. But you know what? It's okay. Sure, maybe all the ignoring today almost pulled me to the deepest, darkest depths of my soul. And yeah, it might have even had me questioning my own existence, but I wasn't gonna let mere emotions stop me from getting what I want. Robux. So I pulled what many would call a 300 IQ move and started just jumping up and down at my booth, screaming at the entire server.
Everyone listen right now. Give me your flippin' Robux. This is not a drill. All the Robux you have is mine.
Yeah, honestly, I don't really know what I expected to come from this. After a couple minutes of that, I decided to place my booth in a better location, and then this person came up to look at my booth, but unfortunately, they just ended up walking away. A few minutes later, with less than 10 minutes on the clock, I convinced this guy to come look at my booth, and I'm not gonna lie, I felt like this dude was ballin' or something, because he literally asked me how much Robux you want. Who does bro think he is? Has him? I wasn't even sure how to answer this question. That's a hard question to answer, bro. I'll take whatever I can. And he was standing in front of my booth for over a minute, and I was just waiting on a donation. I wasn't sure how much he was gonna give me, but then he said, "You sound like someone." What do you mean, bro? What are you talking about?
Sound like Liquate.
I'm not gonna lie, this really surprised me. How did he recognize me with this
High-pitched voice.
And of course, that forced me to unclaim my booth and switch servers, because obviously I'll do whatever I can to keep this series genuine, but I was a bit disappointed because I genuinely thought that this guy was gonna do some kind of crazy donation. In the next server, it seemed like my good server luck was continuing, and we were already down to about 6 minutes, so I quickly went up to the first group I could find and said, "I will do 1 lap around the fountain for every 2 Robux. I really could use the Robux. I'm trying so hard to get more." And the only response I got was,
"Sorry, I don't have any."
with the little time I had left, I tried my best to quickly approach as many people as possible. 1 lap around the fountain for every 2 Robux. Are you guys interested? And before the timer ran out, we didn't get any more Robux, which means in this episode, we made a total of 350 Robux.